What's up, my fellow lionesses and lions? Welcome to the Project Lioness podcast, where we are here to disrupt the mainstream narrative when it comes to health, holism, and human consciousness. We are here to share bold truths about health and life from a female perspective. This episode is brought to you by our team, Inspire Co., where we stand for your health being inspired by choice rather than being inhibited by chance. Thank you for being here and joining in on these raw, real, and powerful conversations. We hope our show brings you inspiration and empowerment to overcome challenges, reclaim your life, and ultimately pursue your mission with power, purpose, and play. Now, let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dr. Mel, your host of the Project Lioness podcast, and I am coming on here to do a little sound bite for you and talk to you about this addiction to healing that I see a lot in the culture, especially now when people are having their awakening. They're waking up to these programs and distortions that they've been carrying, holding, ways of being that no longer serve them, behaviors, actions, all the things that we experience as human beings. When we go through our own awakening, quotes, process, we can often, rather than just living our true identity, living the clearest essence of who we are, we can actually get trapped in this addiction to healing in an awakening process. And what that can look like is constantly telling yourself, well, once I'm healed, I'll do this. Or once I'm whole, then I'll do this. It's very conditional. It's very if-then thinking. If this, then this, or when this happens, then I'll do this. And I've talked a lot about this in my podcast and a lot of content I put out there, but I've seen it ramp up a little bit lately. And I really wanted to come on here and dispel those myths and break down those myths and let you know that healing is a trap. And I know that I myself am a healer and I help people heal, but I use a different lexicon when it comes to the word heal. And the way that I describe healing is helping everything align with love, or helping energy align with love. And what you must recognize is that, and ask the question rather, is what is love? Well, love is not a state of infatuation. It's not a state of chasing something. It's not lust. Love is a synthesis and a harmony, a synchronization of complementary opposites. So being able to see both the positives and the negatives of every situation, of every experience, of everything that we experience as human beings and everything that happens for us. It's a synthesis and a synchronization of complementary opposites. So bringing the positive and the negative together, bringing the yin and the yang together, bringing the light and the dark together, and loving all of it. I think a lot of people are very used to loving the things that they find pleasure in, but they don't love the things as contrast. And a contrast is part of the game, y'all. It's part of the human experience. We are meant to experience both sides of things. And that is what makes us whole. Wholeness requires all parts, both sides, the synthesis of the polarity. So love is that. And that is actually what unconditional love is loving people and experiences regardless of the outcome, loving them as they are, not the way that you want them to be, but the exact way that you are. So how does this relate to health and healing? Well, it's very common when I see people and hear people say, I'm on a healing journey, right? I'm on this healing journey. And I ask them, I say, well, when is the journey going to end? When are you ever not healing? When are you never not healing? When are you never not whole? Because what actually happens is you're whole all the time, but our mind likes to play tricks on us. Our perception likes to play tricks on us and tell us that we are not whole and that we are in fact missing something. And we are fragmented. And while things happen to us and we create a perception and a story of being less than whole, that feeling of less than whole and having a fantasy of how we think things should be is what puts us on this false journey of healing. And what I see happen is People go on this journey and they hire the guides, they hire the gurus, they hire the healers, they hire the doctors, they go to the Western medicine, they go to even the holistic people. Listen, the holistic people are not separate from this. They can absolutely trap you in healing and healing and healing and healing and healing. And then you never fucking end. It never fucking ends. But what I see happen is people get trapped on that journey and they go on this, it's not even a spiral, it's just a loop. And they're in the same place they were a year ago. They're in the same place they were 5 years ago. And yet they keep going to all these healers that keep them stuck on the conveyor belt of healing. And this happens in my profession. This happens in other holistic professions. This happens in a lot of chiropractic offices I see. This happens in every industry. It's not just healers, y'all, but you stay in this forever loop and you never actually break free and break out and move on the transcendence in the upward spiral of living. So the question is, how do you move from healing to living? Because so many people are afraid to just live their life because they think they have to have it all together, that there's some destination of wholeness, when in reality, you're whole right here, right now. You've never not been whole. It's just the perceptions you've created from your lived experiences that told you that you've programmed that you're not whole, but you're never not whole. And yes, you are whole in the messiness. Symptoms are part of the cure. So let go of the fantasy. One of the things that keeps people trapped on this living versus healing, one of the things that keeps people trapped is that they're never going to have pain again. Whether it's physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, and this could be symptoms, this could be any form of feedback loops that your body's giving you, that your life is giving you. And people have this idea that once they get there, once they get to the ivory tower where there's no symptoms and there's no problems, then you're whole. And my friends, it's actually opposite. The more you can honor and look at your pain and your symptoms and turn around and let go of like this snake chasing its tail and like let go of the tail and look the other way and say, wait a second, what if all of these feedback loops and quote unquote pain and symptoms was getting me to wake up to the fact that I am whole? Like, what if the pain is your purpose? What if the symptoms are the cure? What would life look like if you could just acknowledge that and realize pain is going to change form? You're never not going to have challenge. You're never not going to have pain in some form. What if you could live life from that lens? Would that actually allow you to expand into your wholeness that is here and accessible and available to you now? Versus chasing something outside of thyself. Because the more you chase it, the more problems you actually create. And this is the difference I think that I bring into my work, Project Lioness, the programs I teach, even my chiropractic office, is getting people to wake up to the fact that you are whole here and now. And I get that you're like, okay, well, how does me having that awareness help? Well, the first step is awareness. You must be aware that that is accessible here and now. And then what happens is as you have a consciousness shift, your frequency shifts, but now the matter and the material world must catch up with you. And that density of matter moves a little bit slower than your consciousness. So the more that you can actually accept the fact that you are whole here and now, and that your symptoms and your pain are not bad, and there's no escaping it, because here's one thing, get this. You will pay people. You will go into financial pain to get rid of your physical pain. You will go into financial pain to get rid of your relational pain, i.e. you hire a doctor, you hire a therapist. So you're changing the form of the pain from your body to your wallet. And then from there, you perceive more benefits in less physical pain than you do financial pain if you have a high value of health. So you're never not going to be in pain. You're never not going to have challenge. It's just a matter of what game of pain do you want to play? What game of challenge do you want to play? And I would recommend living into and creating pain or challenge within your highest values. So let go of the fantasy that you're never going to be in pain and that true healing is pain-free. It is not. It is not. Wholeness has both pain and pleasure. Wholeness has both purpose and distortion. It's all part of the game of wholeness, my friends. I wanted to come on here with this Lioness soundbite, which I'm going to be doing more of, which are shorter little snippets to really help you crack the code of healing. And that it's here and available for you now as soon as you start to choose to just live your damn life. The more that you live into the nature of your design and live in alignment with who you truly are, the more you actually heal, help everything align with love. And the more you can just exist and live, and you don't have to go on this healing journey. Like the life is the journey. And in that you will experience moments of health and moments of disease. In that you will experience moments of wholeness and moments of distortion. But that is life. That is the game of life. That is how it is designed. So let go of this fact that you're going to reach a destination of healing. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Life is the journey. And in that you will experience both health and dis-ease. I don't mean disease, but dis-ease. Sometimes there's going to be turbulence. Sometimes you're going to have challenges. Sometimes you're going to feel all types of emotions. But who says that that's not healing? I think Western medicine has done a good job of telling you that pain-free equals healthy, and that is not the case. I see a lot of people who don't have pain, and all of a sudden they get a heart attack the next week. A lot of people who don't have physical pain, but all of a sudden they're diagnosed with cancer the next week. Is that true health and healing? So what if the pain was the cure? What if the pain was leading you towards your purpose in life, and that the pain is a gift? What would life look like then? And how would you orient and move through the world differently knowing this? I digress. Thanks for tuning in on this Lioness soundbite. Let me know what you got out of it. However you're tuning in on YouTube or whatever great platforms of social media are out there, and let me know how this is landing for you. All right, my friends, I'll catch you in the next Lioness soundbite or the next podcast. Peace, love, and keep inspiring. Bye. Thank you for joining the Project Lioness podcast. Did you find value in today's episode? Help us impact the lives of others by sharing this podcast with someone you know who would resonate and benefit from the Project Lioness message. Excited to hear more? We invite you to subscribe on whatever platform you're tuning in on. And we'd be so grateful for you to leave us a review about what you enjoy most, as well as what you'd like to hear more of. Thank you so much for all of your support. Sincerely yours in power, purpose, and play. Dr. Mel with the Project Lioness podcast. Keep rising, keep roaring, and keep inspiring.